up everyone? My name is Andrea. If you don't know me, you should subscribe because like why not? You should also hit the notification bell so you can be notified as soon as I upload a new video. But anyway, today I'm going to be doing my fall recommendations video for you guys. About half of these are ones that I have read that I want to recommend to you guys that have spooky elements or just give me fall vibes. And then the other half are going to be ones that I want to read this fall, so if you've read any of those, please let me know in the comments. But let me get started showing you guys the ones that I have read. The first one I want to talk about is one that I read this year, and it's called A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This is a young adult fantasy. I think it's young adult. I don't think it's adult. But anyway, this one definitely just has some darker, spooky vibes. This is about a boy named Kel who is an Antari, which means that because of his blood, because he has magic in his blood, he can walk through different Londons. Because in this world there are 4 different Londons: Red London, White London, Grey London, and Black London. And so not everybody can just walk through these pretty much like alternate dimensions of the same city. And so there's just a lot of trouble that comes from Kel taking one object from one London to another London. And it has incredible characters. I love Kel. I love Lila, who is our female main character. This one will definitely give you the darker, spooky vibes. They have blood magic, which I think is just really interesting and cool, and V.E. Schwab is just known for having those kind of darker vibes, so I definitely recommend this one. Next, I have one that I talk about quite a bit, but it's The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. R.I.P. to him. I think this book is a masterpiece, honestly. And like I say, every time I mention this book, I was recommended it by Callahan Skogman whenever I DM'd the Shadow and Bone cast for book recommendations, and got only one answer, and that was from Callahan. But he recommended me this book, and it turned out to be like one of my favorites of the year. It was just really incredible, and it wasn't like anything I've ever read. But this book is about a boy named Daniel who stumbles upon a very old book by an author named Julian Carricks, and he really enjoys this book, and he's like, wow, I want to read more by this author. And then he realizes that there is nothing else by this author, and that somebody is deliberately setting fire and destroying every one of Julian Carricks' works anywhere. And it's really creepy. Like, it's kind of one of those where there's a story going on in the book that's reflecting the story that you're reading, and as you can tell by the cover, it just has those fall vibes, but it also has like these parts where there is somebody watching Daniel, and he like turns around his shoulder and he sees a man watching him, or he's walking down the street and he sees this kind of monstrous figure, and it's really weird, and figuring out exactly who this person is and everything, the suspense of the novel is something that I really enjoyed, and I think this is just a special book, honestly. So if anybody reads this one, please let me know your thoughts, because I want more people to talk about The Shadow of the Wind with, because it's just brilliant. Next, I'd like to recommend Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I talked about this one in one of my previous videos recently, but this one is Leigh Bardugo's first adult fantasy. It centers around a girl whose name is Alex Stern, and she can basically see ghosts and hear them and talk to them. And there's this society at Yale University that it's kind of like a cult, kind of, you know, just your dark society, dark academia vibes. She's basically roped into helping them figure out what's going on at their school, because they have some demonic, supernatural phenomenon going on, as one university does, you know. And it definitely has this creepy vibes. It's pretty gory at some points. Trigger warnings for that. If you are somebody who needs trigger warnings, look them up, because that was a big problem with Ninth House before it came out. People were like, this book should have had trigger warnings, and I definitely think like gore and such with some of them, but it's a dark book. It's pretty dark, pretty heavy read, so check those out if you are one of those people who knows that you need trigger warnings. But besides that, it's actually a really well written story, and it's pretty deep, has a lot of historical backgrounds. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but I think Leigh Bardugo went to Yale or loves it or something like that, so pretty sure it has, you know, some true facts. I also want to recommend Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. Am I recommending this because I just finished Blood and Honey and just want to talk about Llewyn Reed? Maybe, but it also has your, you know, classic young adult fantasy witches, witchcraft, and everything. And I think that goes with the October vibes, the fall vibes, whatever, spooky season. How many times can I say spooky season? I don't know. I'm so excited. I love October. Anyway, this one is about Lou, who is a witch, and Reed, who is a witch hunter. And Lou and Reed have to get married. They're forced into it. They literally are obligated to get married. And they do. And what do you think happens when a witch and a witch hunter get married? And one of them, the witch hunter, finds out that their wife is a witch. Read Serpent and Dove to find out. It's very intriguing. Some people hate this book. I loved it. I think it's very entertaining. It's Shelby Mahurin's debut novel. This book is something that I think a lot of debut novel authors don't have. Not exactly in the writing style, but she did develop the characters pretty well, and by characters I pretty much just mean Lou and Reed. The side characters she definitely could have worked on and fleshed out more, but Lou and Reed are so interesting, and it really serves that enemies to lovers trope, like, very good, that I can recommend it. And I think I gave it like a pretty high 4 or 5 stars, so check this one out if you haven't. Give it a chance, please. Just give it a chance. Next, I'll go a little quicker through the ones that I haven't read but that I would like to read during the fall/spooky season. I don't really know what all these about, but I will tell you to the extent of my knowledge of them. Okay. Firstly, Dracula by Bram Stoker. I really would have liked to read more classics this year than I did. That's something that is usually a goal of mine, is to read more classics, and I have a whole shelf of them, so I want to get through them. This is on there. Haven't really gotten through any of my classics, but if I could get through this one, it's pretty short. I like this copy because it's old, beat up. It looks, you know, old, and I love that. I don't know, there's just a feel. It feels like a real book. The binding is literally cracked, you know, everything. But this one is really cute because it has the blue sprayed edges. Before sprayed edges were even cool. No, but as you can imagine, Dracula is like a very old originality about vampires. Don't know anything else about it, really. All I know is Dracula is a vampire, so I'd love to find out, you know, what exactly is this story. Next, another one I really want to get to, like, I should have already read it, is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This one is very long. It's also like a beloved fantasy that a lot of people have talked about and raved about. Just from this cover, I get these dark vibes, and I've heard a bit about it. Not enough that I can retell it to you guys, but you probably heard of this book too. Next, I would recommend Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. This one definitely, I know, has some spooky vibes, as from the title, you know, it's a play on Jack the Ripper, and I'm pretty sure that one of the characters is based off of Jack the Ripper or something along those lines, and that's enough for me to know that it's a good read for, like, Halloween. Next, I want to read The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones. This one is marked as a horror/fairy tale novel, which sounds very different than what I usually read, and it sounds pretty interesting. But it's about a girl whose family works as like grave diggers, and so that is what she does, and I'm guessing the corpses, you know, come to life, or at least rise from the dead. Probably don't come back to life, but, you know, come back from the dead. And that is pretty much all I know about it, but it gives me the creepy vibes. Like, honestly, been a little scared to pick it up because I don't know, something about horror books actually genuinely do scare me, especially if I read them at night. But I'm pretty sure that in October I'm gonna want something to scare me, so I will reach for this one. Next is Geralds Game by Stephen King. I've never read anything by Stephen King, and I've had this one for a long time, and I've been wanting to read it. But this is a older one, very old. There's a movie on it and stuff. But it's basically about this couple that goes into the woods, into a house in the woods that's very secluded, and they are, you know, alone, and the wife gets, you know, handcuffed to the bed. While this is going on, her partner dies, and so she is out in the woods in the middle of nowhere, alone, stuck to a bed, and she's gonna like starve. What else is gonna go wrong? Everything. But This one's always intrigued me, and I don't really see myself reading like a bunch of Stephen King or wanting to own everything, but this is one that just piqued my interest, so I really want to read it. And finally, I want to read There Will Come a Darkness by Katie Rose Poole. This one, I am drawn to it. We have a connection, and I just haven't read it. But I love the cover. It just screams like Halloween to me. The red and the black and the white, it's really pretty. I honestly love this cover, and it has a map, and it just gives me all of those, you know, dark vibes. This book has a cast of like 5 characters, I think, that are each very different and have their own special skills or whatever, who I'm pretty sure get thrown together and they have to save the world or they will like destroy it. And it seems very interesting to me. I love when there are groups of characters rather than just one main character. I don't even know if this is a multiple POV or anything, but this one has always grabbed my attention. So if you've read it, and I've heard a lot of people say good things about it, but if you've read it, please let me know in the comments too if this is a good one, because I've heard quite a bit of different things. So I'm so excited. I still want to definitely try it, but yeah, I can't get over this one. Literally, if I could be a book, I probably want to be this one. It's really cute. Okay, so that is all the books that I want to recommend and that I want to read for the fall. That is all the books that I recommend and that I want to read for the fall and spooky season. So like I said, let me know if you've read any of these, and that's pretty much all I have to say. Go ahead and follow me in all my social media down below, and that's gonna be it for this video. So I hope you like this video, down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!